All right, hello and welcome back as we are getting ready for the second game of the night as we are going to have the Daytona Coastline Control up against the Louden Lynx here. Hoping for a good game, I think a bit less likely than our last one, but hey, we'll find out. Daytona currently sitting at 4-0. Meanwhile, Loudon at 2-2 puts them at third and fifth on the standings, 2 spots apart. You can also see quite a few pretty confident wins for Daytona, although also 2 Game 5s mixed in there does show some cracks in the armor. Over for Loudon, 2 tough 4 game losses to Inchin and Madison, but a sweep over KC, showing that they can beat the bottom of the table pretty convincingly. And then, most importantly, a 4 game upset over Boston last week that showed that they can probably compete. But we'll find out as we look at our weekly schedule. You can see 2 Game 5s and a Game 4 so far. I think this one more likely to lean towards that Game 4 or shorter, but hey, we'll find out. As we also look over to our standings, you can see Inchin currently alone at 5-0. However, Daytona waiting to see if they'll join them, or Madison at 4-1. Boston also looking to move up and meet Madison. Loudon trying to climb up and cement their position in that top 5 and avoid falling to meet Bedford and Denver. Vancouver then picking up their first win, and KC later tonight will be trying to do the same and avoid the same fate as Buffalo. Looking over to our team stats then, it will be in favor of Daytona with a 4-2 split, with shot percentage and demos going the other way. Key players are Cozy and Pinky, with no ties in terms of, well, just the stats in general, as saves and demos will go over to Aiden instead of Cozy, and then shots to Rush and Dishonored getting the shot percentage, which is typically going to happen with your fourth because of less games played, but here is just because shooting, because they've all played a pretty even amount of times. All right, and so that leaves us set up as we just kind of wait to see how this one goes. I think, if I'm being honest, I think I have to predict Daytona. I'm saying Daytona 3-1. My first thought was it might be a Daytona 3-0 sort of time, but I mean Daytona haven't always looked dominant, and when they've played these really good teams, Loudon have gotten a game. They've not been swept yet this season. So I think strength-wise, this could absolutely be a Daytona 3-0, but just what we're seeing, I'm not going to be surprised at all if it instead goes to 4 games. Or, of course, Loudon already have 1 upset, and I'd say this is another step above that, but still possible that we could see another upset, and as a result, a win going over to Loudon, or at the very least 5 games. So we'll have to see, as of course we are waiting on our teams to get in. We do have one in, so just waiting to see the other one. But yeah, I think, as we've said in the past, it's kind of rare that we're going to see Daytona leading both goals and saves. Usually, you see usually the better team, have more or at least higher offensive stats, and then the other, usually worse team, will have higher defensive stats. So saves and maybe demos, because that's a more playstyle dependent stat. But in this case, it's actually shot percentage, showing maybe that Loudon are more efficient on offense, and the demos, which again is just playstyle. Because Daytona, I mean, you see Aiden and Cozy both very high in saves, upwards of 30, and then Cozy, of course, having a lot of goals to his name, and not on an absurd amount of shots, as he's still shooting 35%. So I think it's a very strong offensive showing for Daytona, and yet they've shown they can still play good defense. And of course, we will have to say, I mean, especially when you think of really both of the last two series, it feels like Louden are a team that will take advantage of mistakes. That, of course, KC playing without Mers, playing without their best player, it did not look close. That was an absolutely dominant showing where the goal diff was one-sided and the scoreline is one-sided as it ends up with a sweep. One team started to join. They weren't quite in their team call yet. I'm just waiting on the last member to join in, and then we should be good to go. And so we get underway now for our second series of the night. So as I was saying, Louden are a team that tends to take advantage, that you think against Madison. Again, Madison didn't have saves for 2 games of that series, and those 2 series were close. And then against Boston, we've similarly said, Boston at times have struggled to be dominant, have struggled to outpace a team. And kind of because of that, they managed to get opportunities and get themselves those game wins. So I think the challenge for Daytona, or at least the goal, is just going to be don't give them those windows. We know Cozy and Aiden are fast, so it might come down to their third. That's just going to be, can you outpace them? Can you shut them down? Can you avoid making the mistakes to give them windows into the game? And then, of course, not in this first game and not in the call, so might not be in the series, but we'll get to that in a second because already it has been complete control to Louden, and they're going to get the first goal. Romeo, I think, getting faked out on the back wall there, and then Pinky just a clean slot to the back post. And the Lynx are going to have first blood. As I was saying, of course, Rush, the new player to Louden, getting swapped over for Craney. And Craney, I would say, was the main guy for Louden, but not sure we're going to have Rush tonight. And so far, not looking like it might not affect them too much, as they already have that first goal on the board, but still a lot of time left to play. Already a chance here for Daytona, saved for the moment. No follow-up, though. Still none, and Romeo makes them pay. Everyone panics, everyone misses, and eventually the shot is there. Romeo sneaks it in the far post. And we are tied up at 1, just over a minute into the series. And chasing this one down as well, looking for a 50, but Pinky will force a clear away. Cozy now, up the right wall, looking to send it down. Louie will dunk it out off the right wall. Aiden now, trying to force it in again. Dishonored will be the one to get it up in the air, but Romeo cut it off from there. Dropping back down, he'll look for a follow, but he's out of boost, and it'll get cleared away. Now almost just in, but it hits high, and Pinky's follow is far wide. This one now bouncing forward yet again. Dishonored will knock it back in. Romeo to the right side, pinched back away. Pinky now in the air next. This one bouncing across. Louie, perfectly placed. Louden lead again. Pinky the bouncer, Aiden's backwards, and Louie drops it right under him. And so the Lynx now back with a 1-goal lead. We'll see if they can hold on to it this time. Cozy from his own back wall, trying to pop it away. Not the greatest touch. Romeo will help him out, though, as now Aiden bangs it down. Dishonored high. Aiden off the backboard again. Pinky now forward. It's Cozy bouncing it out off the backboard. Romeo now looking for another one down. Aiden will bounce it forward. Pinky will get it away. Now Cozy still waiting with it, looking for another pinch. Bounce down towards the center as we cross the halfway point of the first game here. Still only sitting with 3 goals on the board and still with a Louden lead. I'd say we have seen a pretty decent amount of pushback from Daytona, but kind of, as we said, Louden we're looking for. We've seen much more of an even game and much more chances for the Lynx than we've kind of expected. That Cozy trying to 50 to cross. Aiden's there, but that one will just go harmlessly to the other side. Does keep the pressure on for a moment, but then it's quickly cleared away by Pinky again. Cozy trying to put the pressure on. Romeo won't get there, but Cozy can dunk Dishonored. Cozy now looking for a bump. Won't find it. Romeo pre-jumped, and Pinky blocks Aiden. Should have been a goal, but it will not connect. 90 seconds left to play. It is 2-1 still, and the Lynx are still in front. Pinky now another one popped off the back wall. Aiden trying to get it away. This one knocked down. Cozy forward won't be there. Aiden now off the backboard again. Louis trying to get it away. Down the right wall. Aiden not going to reach that one. Cozy now down the sideline. Pinky diving in. 50 off the back wall. Louis, that one gets under him. Aiden now forward. It's wide. Aiden off the back wall again, looking for another double down. It'll go just high of the net for now. Louis now diving across. Romeo looking for it. And it's a tie game. 2 for Romeo, 2 for the Coastline Control. And we have parity with 50 seconds left to go. Louden have controlled it up to this point, but they will not control past this point. 45 seconds to go, and we are back to an even game state. Now the question will be, who scores next? Will Louden once again find a lead? Or can Daytona, for the first time in this game, score 2 in a row and manage to put themselves in front? This one centered down. Aiden trying to bounce it in. Pinky will block it over to the side, but it's still stuck in his half until he gets another bang downfield. Romeo's touch was right at Dishonored. Dishonored, though, won't connect. Now he's forced to back pass, but he finds Pinky. Pinky in the air. Gets by Cozy. Bouncing down. Dishonored saved for now. Louis into the corner. It'll float back away. Aiden trying to knock it down. Cozy will flick it downfield. Dishonored keeping it alive for now, but eventually it drops. And in game number 1, we head to overtime to determine our winner. These teams have been so back and forth here through one game, but who can close it down first? It's 150 to cross the middle of the field. A little bit too slow there by Dishonored, but Aiden not going to be able to get a center on it. Cozy now, he'll look to center it, he'll look to score it, he will not, and Romeo won't get a shot either. Aiden another 50, it's even. Trying to jump again, he'll shoot, but it's wide. Aiden now high off the corner, Louis will get it away over one. Romeo knocking it back down. Dishonored over off the left wall. Louis following it back. Fake by Romeo. But the shot is slow and it's cleared away by Dishonored. Cozy now getting it away, but it's Pinky to dunk it back in. Off the back wall. Dishonored the 50 forward. They just have to force it in, and Louis can. Louden take game 1. Back and forth they went, but the Lynx stay ahead, and they secure the first win of the game. And of the series, more importantly, as they're going to outshoot them 9-8, so only by 1, and they will outscore them by that same amount. So as we look forward now for game number 2, it will be Louden 1 ahead. And so, as we expected, or at least as we predicted, we are not going to see a sweep come through from Daytona. But now, more importantly, will we see a win come through from Daytona? Because now, they're a little bit behind. They got to find their own response. They got to get more goals on the board. We'll see if they can get it done, because so far, it's going the other way. As this one popped across by Aiden, looking for Cozy, saved for now. Dishonored left alone, Pinky will help him out. Pinky now waiting under it, flick down. That one will get down into the final third, but Aiden will knock it away from there. Dishonored will miss as well. Louis up in the air, it's off the right side, looking for a center. Pinky will get another block. Romeo up next. He'll drop it down to the side. Pinky, big shot, but Aiden's there. He'll keep it wide for now. Lemon, you're just doubting Louden. Louden have looked good. Romeo now trying to bang it forward. Louden have not gotten swept yet this season, by the way, Lemon. And they just beat Boston last week. Like, we're not surprised at the very least that they took a game. This one towards the net. Blocked to the side by Dishonored. He'll look to follow it up. Low on boost, though, and will get beat to it. Pinky now also low on boost. The totals in general kind of lacking for the Lynx. That'll really limit their ability for a clear, but so far nothing threatening their net, although that is a lot of boost used there by Louis. Pinky trying to get it away, but it's right at Romeo. Dishonored trying to get it away. It's been very Daytona controlled in the last minute and a half. And it feels like we might finally be seeing that change as, of course, Louden don't want to get trapped back. Their play style in these last few series is kind of unsurprisingly relied on them getting shots because they're efficient with them, but they aren't getting many in general, so they can't afford to get shut out. There's Cozy trying to go up in the air. Will fake his way back down. Pinky will take it away, but Romeo's there next. Now popped across. Aiden diving in. That's on, but Louis pops it away. Cozy up next. No one to save that one. Daytona take their first lead of the series as they have first blood in game 2. It's a bullet down by Cozy. And 2 minutes in, the tie is finally broken. Aiden now up again, bumped off it. That'll give some space to Louis. His touch is right up into the ceiling. Now he'll knock it down, but Romeo will get there before Dishonored. Everyone kind of peels off it, but Romeo will play it again as he'll bang it out. Aiden's there, shots wide. Cozy up next. That's in. 2-0. The first shot might not connect, but when they allow the follow-up to come through, that one sure will. Still more than half the game to go, but a much better start for Daytona. They have a multi-goal lead here. Surely a response, though, and it will be. Dishonored. Looked awkward, but he brings it down. Rolls it in. And so we are back within 1. Louden will not stay down 2 for long. They will fight back. And they'll begin to turn the momentum. Of course, still a good ways to go as they need one more goal to complete the comeback, but at least it's a start. As Louis trying to bring this one around, but he kind of loses control. Cozy now, they let him play, and he makes them pay. 3-1. That's a hat trick for Cozy. Pinky just a bad angle and gets dusted at the near post. And so again, Louden might be trying to cut into it, but it's not working very well so far because Cozy is playing here in game number 2. 2 minutes left to go. Still a multi-goal lead for the Coastline control here. We'll see if the Lynx have time to get one back as Dishonored now flicks it up off the left wall. Cozy trying to dive in. Will knock it down to the corner. Dishonored now on it next. This one dropping down, bouncing away. Aiden to the back wall. Pinky trying to take it over to the right side, and he will beat one diving in. Dishonored now on it next. He'll get a 50 downfield, but plenty of time for Aiden on that one. Cozy another skip to the corner will force Louden to regroup. As, I mean, in general, as we kind of said through the beginning part of this game, we really just haven't seen a lot out of Louden in this game. It has been much better and much closer to what we expected. That Daytona have managed to control the pace, trap them back, limit their boost totals, and really just not give them many chances downfield. And so even though Louden do have a goal with one of their few chances, they just haven't had enough to keep themselves in this game. And of course, with all the pressure, Daytona, meanwhile, are just putting on enough to eventually earn themselves the goals. And that's maintained them a multi-goal advantage. As 45 seconds left to go there, it looked like there could have been a chance for Louden, but nothing will come through. Daytona will push forward yet again. They will continue to eat away at the clock. Maybe a look here, but it'll just stay wide in the corner. Now Aiden trying to get it out. That miss will help. Daytona clear the line again. That clock drops lower and lower. Final 20 seconds here. Daytona struggle in the first game, but they will do nothing of the sort here on DFH. And as the clock winds down to 0, they will fight back and they will equalize the series as we are tied at 1 through 2 games. We'll see what the shots look like. I think it's going to be quite control favored, but let's see. As, 13-4. Cool. Over 3 times as many. 3.25 times. So, pretty dominant, I'd say, as they just really didn't give anything over to Louden. And so we'll see now as we load over for game number 3. Can Louden find it back? That's my next question. Because obviously the first game was much better than the second. And a good part of that is it felt like Daytona were doing much better at dominating the game. But will Daytona do that again? Or can Louden find a way to counter it? Maybe, can they speed themselves up? Can they just get better clears? I'm not sure quite what they're going to need to do, and I'm not sure what their speed will allow them to do. But we will see as we load in game number 3. Now an even series. But can Louden get a game back? Can they turn the momentum back? Or have Daytona zeroed in on how they need to play? Thinking he'll lose the battle for that boost as Cozy on the other end will get a clear away. Cozy now staying with it. Romeo up to follow, but Pinky will slide it away. Aiden now looking for a recenter. It'll drop back down. Louie looking for another clear. This one up off the right wall. Demo in the backfield. Dishonored will get a 50, but it's still up off his crossbar. And Aiden is there. First blood over to Daytona. And they'll plate from in front here in game number 3. The defense kind of gets abandoned. And even though the block was there to keep it off target, it didn't stop a follow-up. And so, now a pretty clean start for Daytona. But, of course, a lot of time left in the game. Now, we saw quite a few goals go back and forth in game 1, so you can't count Louden out just yet. But it feels like they kind of need to get that equalizer soon if they want to have a good fight in this game. Because as soon as they give up another goal, then it just becomes such a daunting advantage to overcome. And if they wait too long, then Daytona can kind of just settle in and play with their lead. This one now played across again. Romeo looking to clear it back forward. It will go wide for the moment. Now on the outside, Louie, another long send. Cozy just tracking it back into the corner. Now up in the air again, dunked by Louie. Pinky in the air. No one will get there. Dishonored will, and it's tied. There's your equalizer. There's your play. Pinky makes them panic, and then he parks and watches it go in. Dishonored, a bouncing finish. And so a minute 40 in, we are all tied up at 1. Dishonored trying to follow this one down. Cozy will play it over off the left wall. Louie now trying to get it away again. He'll get a flick downfield. Now off the right side, Romeo trying to bounce it in. Now controlled by Dishonored. He'll take it, he'll dribble it, but he kind of gives it away to Cozy. Luckily for them, Cozy's touch isn't very controlled either, although that miss will open up some more space. Cozy wins it downfield. Pinky saves it, but it's right at Cozy. High above the net, 50'd away by Louie. Couple mistakes make it awkward for Louden, but it isn't in their net just yet. Pinky gets another one out, but Cozy trying to force it right back in. Another 50 over to the other corner. He'll seal the boost, trying to limit the totals. Dishonored, though, able to clear the line, as it'll be Aiden trying to reset the pressure, but he won't connect on the next touch. Louis' touch, though, won't do much. Cozy off the bar. Romeo diving in. 2 go. Pinky gets the save. I believe that would have been a pinch away, as Louden once again are just surviving here in this game, but they need to break out. They can only hold on for so long. Under 2 minutes left to go. This one's still tied, but it's starting to feel like it won't last. Dishonored now trying to win it out. Goes pretty even with the 50. Aiden does get back to it. He is demo, but he sets up Romeo. Romeo now bumped off it. Cozy trying to wait patiently. He'll get beat, but Aiden's behind him in the net. Cozy now up early. Redirect down off the ceiling. Bouncing around the outside. Pinky trying to play it. He'll flick it away. Dishonored. Downfield. Stays wide of the net. Aiden now no boost. He'll fake down under Louie. Cozy able to beat one. Cozy will beat a second. Up towards the ceiling again as we crest 75 seconds left to go. That shot by Romeo is wide. Aiden will demo one. He'll 50 through a second, but it's not shootable, and Dishonored's there to clear it. Louie now into the corner again. Dishonored already on it. He'll center, but it's popped away. Cozy now up. Dunked, but 2 went for Louden. Dishonored trying to slow it down. Romeo takes it away from him. Aiden now beats Pinky. Louie left alone. He'll get beat, but it's off the crossbar. Cozy looking for a recenter. Beat by Pinky on the flick, but it's still in the Louden corner. Louie will bounce it away. Pinky will get it downfield. It's wide of the net. Cozy will track it down. An awkward touch. Dishonored scores. Louden take the lead with 30 seconds left to go, as a lapse in concentration gives away an open net. Still time for Daytona, but Louden have put themselves in front. Dishonored looking for a save. He'll get the first, he'll get the second. It's off the post and in. Cozy forces it in. He makes up for the previous play, and we're level at 2 once more. Dishonored makes one save, but then chaos ensues, and that sure favors the attackers. And so the Coastline control equalize it again. Now another double commit. Aiden trying to slow it down. He'll bang it off the back wall. Romeo diving in. He scores. 3-2. Daytona lead instead. 10 seconds ago, Louden got their lead. It was more like 23, I think, but don't worry about it. Not that long ago, it was a Louden lead, but how quickly that can change. Daytona score 2 straight, and they will move to match point. 1 away from closing this one out. They'll take the game at 3-2. They'll outshoot them 11-4. Dominant again in the final third. And, I mean, like, it just felt like Louden lost it. Like, they got their lead. That was huge. That was, like, really big for them. Put them in a good spot. And then immediately, they were panicking. They were double committing to most balls. And they were just giving up free shots. So it felt like, I mean, of course it was a mistake that gave them that goal, but just in general, it really felt like that should have been a game Louden win. And now that they give it up, down 2-1 in the series, it's just not looking great. I mean, you want to believe in the Game 5. You want to believe in the potential upset. But that is just so much momentum and so much confidence going the other direction. But we will see as we load in now. Game number 4. It is going to be, as we're waiting on someone. Pinky joined like right. Okay, it's cool. So we're going to wait for just a second because Pinky's game crashed. Then he loaded back in and then his game crashed again. So I guess now we're waiting. We're waiting on Pinky to load back in again. So momentary pause at this point. But hey, we will see. As, again, it just feels like there's so much momentum that I think, in general, pretty clearly, Daytona have just been the better team on the season. And right now, I'm just feeling like that confidence and that momentum should push them over the line. But we'll see, as I guess we are just still waiting. I don't know. Not entirely sure how long this will take, but I believe that we'll get back into it soon. Likely, probably, potentially. I don't know. We just waiting. As they just be talking in the game chat, by the way. I'm not sure most of it means much, but they just be talking. They be saying things. As Aiden acknowledges, because Louis and Dishonored keep saying things in terms of chat, and yeah, it's not on screen. So Aiden acknowledging that, but they're in their own world. They're having fun, I think, maybe. As I'm still not sure what's taking quite so long. It wasn't quite this long the first time, so I hope that we can get Pinky back in here soon. But we are still just holding on that. There's not that much more I can talk about. I think a Louden, I guess I talked about this in the prison one. A Louden loss does help all of the top teams, pretty much. Kind of a similar deal to Arcadia in Prism, that Louden play, I think, either Bedford or Denver. In fact, both. And so that would guarantee another 4-loss team. And so that means that 5 or 6 wins will be enough to guarantee you a clinch. Okay. But now that we've established that, as again, Pixels Week will conclude tonight. And so we will have scenarios and all that locked in and ready for next week's games, which of course we'll see when those start. But I do think we have everyone in. And so I think we're good. I think we got a game. Finally. What part of it, Wico? You mean after Louden scored at the end there? Pretty much, Louden just kind of started panicking and double committing and getting really awkward on defense. And so they gave up 2 goals. Daytona won in regulation. It was not great. As Aiden tries to bring this one down, goes up for the shot, but it goes high. Dishonored now another one out off the corner, as we've seen Louis switch into, I believe he was in an Octane, but at the very least I know that's a different car design. Pinky, of course, though, still in his Batmobile, but it won't help him out with this one, as Romeo slots it through. And it's 1-0 Daytona again. They'll claim first blood. 36 seconds in, a quick start for the Coastline Control. As of course they are still 1 game away from taking down their 5th win of the season and staying undefeated. We'll still see if they're able to close it out here, though, as there's a lot of time left to go. And just as we say it, Louis gets a goal on the board. That one just cleared out to midfield. Louis smashes it from there. Romeo can't reach. No one else saves. And since I said it, I do remember Louis wasn't an Octane, so he has switched into the Fennec. And hey, pretty good start for it, as we have a tie game 1 minute in. Early chance there for Daytona again, but it's saved out to the side by Dishonored. Aiden now taking it up into the air. He'll get a reset down, but won't do too much with it. Cozy now away again as Louis tries to bang it down. Looks for a read, won't quite find it. Romeo now trying to pop downfield. It'll be Pinky to center it out. Now Aiden trying to control it again. This one out off the back wall. Go down as we see 2 demos come through there. As honestly, by the way, I'm just thinking, me checking that Louden haven't played Denver or Bedford helps me, because then I know that tiebreaker won't be by head-to-head. Nice. And in fact, that just means Louden would drop to 6th, and Bedford would go up to 5th. Nice. But of course, still 3 minutes left to go before we have that result even locked in, because Daytona aren't currently leading in this game. And so we'll see if Louden can continue this and bounce back. Oh, of course. I mean, they did in the last game. Like, Louden started it, Daytona responded with it. That's fair. We've seen it a little bit. As Louis trying to drop this one down, going for a pinch. It'll be Pinky to go for the shot alone, but it's saved out to the side. Dishonored the same. But Romeo once again there for the block. Romeo now trying to work it downfield. He'll pop it down into the corner. He'll get a pinch center, but it's well read by Louis. Half the game left to go here. Still even at 1 for the moment. It's been quite back and forth, which, as we've established, could be a good sign for Louden. But as long as they don't have the lead, that could very quickly change. And Pinky tries to get on this one, looking for a shot down. Dishonored looking for the bump, won't find it. Louis now popping it up, but that's so awkward. Cozy will shoot, and Louis just barely gets back for it. Down off the ceiling again. Quick play by Pinky, wide of the net for now. Caught downfield by Cozy. I mean, I guess I don't know why Lemon, but I guess sure. This one's dropped down. I feel like we haven't really seen any surprises this week so far. As this one's cleared down, though, by Aiden. Around off the corner, and it'll go wide to the other side. Looking at the week results, yeah, I'd say everything has been about... Well, yeah, that's Prism. I mean, that's a bit of a surprise. I guess it's a surprise it was a sweep, but at the same time, I think whichever team lost very well could have gotten swept, especially in the direction it went. As this one's off the back wall, off the post again. Cozy there, Dishonored, already in the right place. Now up in the air again. Aiden trying to knock it down. Pinky up off the back wall. Cozy there, but saved away again. And yeah, Monarch Solution was just a good series, but it went 5 games, so it just kind of showed both teams are really good. Inchin may be a step better, but both are really good. Dishonored tries to 50 it forward. Aiden over to the right side. Bounce down the sideline again. Now centered out. Cozy in the air. It'll go wide. Yeah. And you're probably right. But this one over towards the right side. I mean, we won't focus on that for now, as this one's blocked away again. Aiden, though, just gonna chase it down, and Pinky just barely able to pop that one away. Cozy now up the left wall, looking to wait behind it, looking for the fake down. Does get the pinch, but Pinky blocks it away. Romeo now leaving it. Pinky wins out on the challenge. Final 10 seconds here. We're still tied for now. This one 5 feet away. Now sent downfield, it's Aiden in the air. Pinky jumping, it falls between them all. Overtime in game number 4. Daytona 1 goal away from 5-0, but Louden are 1 away from forcing it the distance. Romeo, this one won all the way downfield. It'll roll up the corner. Louis now down. He'll play it over to the left wall. Down the sideline by Louis. Louis now another one flicked into the corner. It'll bounce out, cleared away. Romeo looking to cut on it, but just plays it down to the corner. Cozy now up early, won't connect. Romeo on it. 50 back towards Aiden. Aiden now towards ceiling. He'll look for a double, but Dishonored able to get enough on it to take away the read. Pinky now not going to get a lot on that as it falls to Cozy again. Cozy to the back wall. Cozy down. Cozy in. A double to keep them undefeated and send Louden to 2-3. Daytona just too good. Louden will fight in the set, but they will not do quite enough to find the win. As that is a fantastic shot to conclude things. And, I mean, Daytona, I'd say they were the better team in this series. I think pretty squarely, pretty fairly. Obviously, I would say, by the way, there weren't many. There was a typed what a save, kind of, but not much of one. But, I mean, okay, I typed that wrong. I was wondering. I was looking, because I'm remaking a lobby, so it's set up for the next series. But, then we'll ask about an interview, and I get a yes, so we are good. But, I mean, Daytona just played a little bit better, and we saw some nerves getting through to Louden in the middle of it, and they put up a good fight, but just not quite enough. As we are going to have an interview, as I said, and so we will be back in just one moment. And we are back with Daytona. Starts a little bit slow, but you guys win it in 4 games. How does it feel to be 5-0?
Feels good, doggo. Game 1, I'm just gonna give you the quick, easy thing. They played well game 1. I'm gonna give them that. They played well. And we just did not play great at all. But we reconvened, got back together, and we won. So that's a good thing.
Absolutely. So I guess the first thing I would ask is, how did you guys win? What was it, game 3? How'd that happen?
Honestly, the great pass was fuel in the fire.
Okay.
I was like, if you want to trash talk, I'll give you something else to trash talk. I said that to my team, and then we just scored and won. And we started trash talking back a little bit, so kind of fueled us. So yeah.
Fair enough. Fair enough. And so I'm sure, as you said, after that first game, you just kind of gave it to him and then knew if you guys play your game, you could still win it.
Yes, sir. Always.
Fair. Then off of that, next week you guys are set to play up against Kansas City. Now, of course, they play the next game, and I believe we're going to have Mers in that one. So you haven't seen them play with him just yet, but how do you feel about that matchup?
Knowing with Mers and Wild Boy, and I forgot who the third is.
Sovu or Vaughn? Probably Sovu
yeah,
third.
So Vaughn, they kind of like Pinky's team. They kind of just go for stuff that kind of makes us kind of unexpected, makes us awkward because, no offense to the low ranks, but they kind of make the game hard to read sometimes. They do. And I think with Mers on the field, it's going to be like a weird combo of like good and bad a little bit. So I think we'll win, but they might take a game off of us just because of the weirdness of the games.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Now, I do think that's about all I have for you guys. So congratulations on yet another win, and good luck next week.
Thank you, Doggo.
All right, and that will do it for the second game of the night, and that will mark the halfway point. We still got 2 games left to go. The next one will be at 9 o'clock with Boston taking on KC, as we just mentioned. So the stream will be back live in just a couple minutes for that. And then we'll close things out again with a Prism game that will start shortly after that 9 p.m. ends. On the schedule for 10, it will likely start a little bit earlier, so make sure you're watching for when the stream goes live for that one. But for now, your final score here, one last time, Daytona 3, Louden 1. We'll see you back in just a couple minutes for the third game of the night.